Blackbird singing in the dead.
I should have worn a different shirt. Howdy roundabout, and welcome back to another brand spanking new episode of your favorite podcast, the only podcast you listen to because it's the only podcast that has existed, will ever exist, and has ever existed.
Happened.
Al Pacino's prison scene this week is brought to you by Reese's Fast Break. When you want to take a break, make it fast. And it's brought to you because if I did not eat that candy bar, I would be asleep right now, probably.
Do you have one for me? Because I'm really tired.
Nope.
Oh, well, if I fall asleep halfway through this, then it's Thomas's fault.
You should have had a Reese's Fast Break.
Yeah, and you're not giving me one, so.
But I'm Thomas, and that other guy is Jake. And today, you read the title. You know what we're talking about. We're talking about Boss Baby, baby. A movie that I am on the record as saying this is better than A Star is Born. And now it's out there on the podcast, so can't take it back.
I agree with you.
I stand by that.
I agree with you.
I said that initially to make people upset, but the more I think about it, yeah.
Think about it. The more, honestly, you're absolutely... This, I'd have to look back at the catalog of DreamWorks films, but I think that this is the most conceptually substantial DreamWorks film.
It's based on a book. Do you know that?
No, that's Holes.
Well,
and Fear and Loathing. And Shrek.
Why do I have so many Wikipedia pages open?
You were looking at some stuff. What is Boss Baby book?
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure like the most of the voiceover in the movie is from the book. It's just like a picture book.
Oh, okay. It's got a 5 out of 5 on Target.
The book?
Yeah.
Well, the movie's not doing too hot critically.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think so.
All right, let's see. Well, they're all wrong.
There we go. Awards.
This
came out the year during the La La Land kerfuffle.
2017, yeah.
Well, because I was looking up. I guess I meant to bring this up later.
What? It's rotten?
Yeah.
What?
Because this was nominated for Best Animated Movie, which now I can't find that category.
Dude, what? The Boss Baby's talented cast, glimmers of wit, and flashes of visual inventiveness can't make up for a thin premise and a disappointing willingness to settle for duty jokes. How many poop jokes do they make? Like one.
Oh, well, all right. Well, he says fart poop duty a lot, but I think that's a stand-in for curse words for him, for Boss Baby.
Yeah.
However, fart jokes get me every time, man. Every single time I watch this, I am eagerly anticipating the moment when Tim smacks his butt and it's got all that powder on it, and he goes, and
oh yeah,
that's a good one. Comes out.
That's a good one.
Oh man!
All right, I'm calling out every single one of these critics that gave this a bad review on Rotten Tomatoes, because guess what? You are all wrong.
Also,
I'm looking at you, Rachel Wagner. I'm looking at you, Joey Magidson. I'm looking at you, Sarah Kirtland. I'm looking at you, Thomas Trusso. I'm looking at you, Randy Jones. I'm looking at you, Carrie J. Sampson. I'm looking at you, Oggs Cruz. I'm looking at you, A.S. Hamra.
All right, so I thought that this was the case. The year that Boss Baby came out, actually, hold on. First, which I should probably do a recap before I talk about this. All right, so, hold on. Before I get into the recap, I just want to say I love this movie. I've always loved this movie since the day it came out. It came out while I was working at a movie theater, so I saw a lot of it a lot. And maybe that has something to do with it. However, other movies also came out when I worked at the movie theater, such as Trolls. And that movie's all right, but I don't love Trolls. I love Boss Baby. The Boss Baby, I should say. So I just want to preface that. I love this movie, and I think it does have substantial meaning. But as Jake just proved by looking at Rotten Tomatoes, it does not have this film does not have the respect that I think it deserves in the movie community or just at large.
You know why?
And that's why we're talking about it today.
Here's the problem, and I think that I'm coming to this consensus is that people don't look for the deeper meaning, Thomas,
They do not.
and that's why we're here. And I think for the first time, I am fully realizing that
Good.
because during this
It only took like 35 episodes or whatever we're up to.
because I have seen this. I've only seen this movie once before, and I was not a fan of it. But this time, like the first like 5 minutes is like all of this,
Yeah.
all my notes, and the rest of it, like I can piece together just because it's in my brain. But like, there's so much stuff going on here that all just like it just makes sense.
And it all comes together in the end.
It does. It absolutely does.
There's certain lines that come full circle, and it's wonderful. Like I watched, and again, I know I haven't done the recap yet, but I watched Being John Malkovich over Christmas break, which was now like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
I told my dad, I was like, every single thing in this film comes back in the end. Like there's not a single thing in this film that does not have a purpose. And for the most part, I felt the same way about The Boss Baby when I was watching it this time. I feel like every single thing that happens comes back in the end. Now, some things may fall flat. I don't think this is a perfect movie. I think the villain, Francis, could be better motivated. But I don't think the faults outweigh the opposite of faults. I don't know what that is.
But I think Francis motivations make sense.
No, I think it does make sense, but I just think he falls flat. He's no Lord Farquaad.
No, you're absolutely right about that.
He's no Prince Charming's mom, whoever that is.
Fairy Godmother?
Yeah. He's no whoa, hey, you know what? This is not the first DreamWorks movie for Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin was the other lion in Madagascar Escape to Africa. I forgot about that.
Oh, you're right.
Speaking of Madagascar, again,
Tsitsi. You should fight Tsitsi.
Again, I know I haven't done the recap yet, but Madagascar 3, Europe's Most Wanted, was written by Noah Baumbach to help pay for his divorce.
What?
So, how's that for a marriage story?
Baumbach? That's how he says it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That surprised me.
That's wrong.
Because it is wrong.
It's Baumbach.
Yeah.
All right, but recap. So, movie opens with a narration. Well, yeah. And the guy's like, I'm an overactive imagination kid. And then it cuts to like the super colorfully stylized version of this kid running through the Congo, and then you find out that it's just his imagination. And then he's like, "Man, where do babies come from?" And then we get this thing where this baby's falling down this tower, and he gets sent into corporate management. And then Tim's like, "Well, I always remembered he came out of a taxi." So then the boss baby shows up and starts wreaking havoc everywhere. And Tim's like, adult Tim narrating, he's like, "Man, this baby showed up and started wrecking everything. He's bossing everybody around, telling everybody what to do, and he was the boss." And I didn't like that very much. And so then Tim's like, "Well, I'm going to prove that he's really talking. And so that way he can't steal all my love from my parents, because right now he's stealing all my love from my parents. And I don't like that. I want all my love from my parents." But he fails because Boss Baby is just too good. He's got the little Asian baby girl, the 3 little black babies, and that one really big baby
who goes, "Baba."
I wish, man. Speaking of which, though, there's a quote unquote nightmare sequence in this film that reminded me of that one in Shrek, whatever Shrek that was in.
3.
Was it 3? I think it was 4. I feel like Baba was in 4.
Oh, Baba was in 4, but the dream sequence was in 3.
Okay. Oh, and he goes, "Da da."
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right, cool. Anyways, then Tim fails, and they're like, "You're grounded." And then Boss Baby's like, "Oh, man, I don't want this to happen. We're going to work together so that I can get out of here and Tim can get his parents back and I can save Baby Corp." And Tim's like, "Okay." So they wait for bring your kid to work day, and then the parents bring the kids to work, and they're like, "Oh, no, Francis was super mega colossal big fat Boss Baby," or whatever his name was. And he was the biggest, best Boss Baby that ever existed. But now he's an adult. And he runs Puppy Co. How did that happen? And he's like, "Well, I'll read you my story. This is how it happened. This is how it happened." And they're like, "Oh, man, that is how that happened." And then Francis is like, "Don't you hate it when everyone steals your love?" And Tim's like, "Yeah, I do." And Boss Baby's like, "Oh, man, that makes me feel bad." But then they steal Boss Baby's formula. And so Tim's like, "Oh, shoot. Now he's going to be turned into a baby and I'm going to be stuck with him. We don't want that." So then Francis takes away their parents and makes Eugene watch them. And they do a super escape that reminds me of that scene in Bedtime Stories. I don't know what scene it is, but it reminds me of that scene. And then they escape, and they make it to Puppy Co. And they're like, Mom, Dad, we're going to save you. Francis like, no, you're not. And then Eugene's there too. And he's like, oh, no, I'm Elvis. And then they almost get it. And then they don't. But then Boss Baby learned to use his imagination. So he's like, you don't end with ha. You end with arg. And so they use the pirate magic and turn Francis back into Baby, super colossal mega fat Boss Baby. And then Eugene's like, we'll raise it better this time. And so he does that. And then they save the parents. And then Boss Baby's like, well, I'm done. I'm going back to my big office. But Tim learned a lot in this movie. He learned that memos can be powerful. And he also learned that beads were representative of love. So Tim mails Boss Baby all of his beads and says, hey, man, I'm going to give you all my love. And you can have all my love, and I'm going to offer you a job that don't pay nothing, but you'll get to be my brother forever. And every day I'm going to be there. And so Boss Baby's like, heck yeah, I'm going to do that. And so he quits his job and messes up the little heart machine thing and then runs and then takes off his diaper and slides down the slide, which means he probably got all his back peeled all the way off, like that one scene in the water park episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. But we're not going to talk about that.
$10 if you know that.
And then Tim gets the baby brother, is happy ever after, the end. And then the credits say, what the world needs now is love. Sweet love.
All right. I know I've said this before. As I asked, like, I wonder if the people forget that I'm here during your recaps.
You're not here.
And honestly, that time, I forgot that I was here.
Good.
I kind of zoned out.
That's okay. That's the magic of Boss Baby, baby.
But yeah, that's the recap. Yo, talk about a first line. Survival of the fittest.
Is that the first line
That's
of the movie?
The very first line of the movie. It opens up, survival of the fittest.
Interesting.
And then we go on. And then he says, at least that's how I remembered it. So boom, guess what that means? My favorite.
He's an unreliable narrator.
Bingo. But I do have a question. I was curious if, like, I assume the overactive imagination and the overactive, like, narration implies innocence, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I mean,
I just wanted to make sure we were on the same page on that.
I didn't think about that, but sure.
Okay, because I just wanted to, because one of the biggest things I think plays a part in this, and I wrote this at the end of near the end of my notes, is that Tim does not know, like, what real life is, and Ted does not know what real love is.
Boss Baby.
Yes, Boss Baby. His name's Ted.
Nope.
Is it not?
His name's Boss Baby. I mean, his name's Ted at the end.
But Boss, okay.
Theodore Lindsay Templeton, or Leslie. I don't know who's who.
Leslie is Tim.
Okay, so he's Lindsay.
So, okay, Boss Baby does not know what love is. And so I think, and he
needs some meatloaf.
This is a, what?
Meatloaf sings the song, I Want to Know What Love Is.
Who?
The band Meatloaf sings the song, I Want to Know What Love Is. You not know that?
As a cover?
No, the band Meatloaf sings that song. Yes. That's why in the movie Sausage Party, a thing of meatloaf sings that song.
It's by Foreigner.
No. It's by Meatloaf. I think I broke Jake.
I'm so confused. Meatloaf? No, that's I Would Do Anything for Love.
Oh, whatever. Same thing.
No, it's not the same thing.
Same thing.
Anyway. Oh, God, Thomas. Tim, what does he say? Duty.
No, fart poop duty.
Fart poop duty.
Which I had the captions on this time. I always thought he was saying duty, duty, like poop duty, like he's on poop duty.
Oh yeah.
But he was not. He was saying duty like doodie.
Oh, I remember what I was saying.
Another word for poop.
Okay, so this is why a lot of them are wrong, because Boss Baby is the perfect. I guess Francis is like the villain antagonist.
Yeah,
but I think that Boss Baby is a perfect double for Tim.
Well, we've been talking a lot about archetypes in one of our classes, and I definitely think Boss Baby fits the fake opponent ally role, because at least initially, he is the antagonist to Tim.
Right. Well, and I think he now that I'm thinking about it, he may just be the antagonist to Tim. And Francis may just be the antagonist to
Boss Baby.
Boss Baby, which is an interesting little triangle right there.
And you know what they say? Triangle's nature's strongest shape.
They do say that. Yo, dude, this movie's so good.
It is.
Wow, look at that.
But unfortunately, and this is what I was going to say before the recap, but then I didn't. It did not win Best Animated Picture in the year of the Oscars.
Well, what did?
2019. All right, so
wait, 2019?
It came out 2018, whatever. It came out in 2017, but the Oscars were in 2018.
Okay.
Coco won, and I do think that's deserved. Coco is a great movie. I think Pixar's best movie. However, other movies that were nominated
sponsor us, Disney,
include The Boss Baby, The Breadwinner, Ferdinand, and Loving Vincent. Now, I don't know if you Shaggy Goose Egg Boys have seen those other movies. Ferdinand should not be in this category at all, I don't think.
I have not seen that.
I have not seen that either. It's John Cena as a bull. But
yo, what?
The Lego Batman movie also came out that year and was not
nominated. Yeah.
So get Ferdinand out of here. Put the Lego Batman movie in there.
Get that Ferdinand out of my face.
The Lego Batman movie is so freaking good. It's the best Batman movie, hands down. You can't even argue that.
Joker's like a real person in that.
It is. It's a romantic. It's a late night rom com,
and it's great.
And
you know what JP says? Rom com sells.
Okay, I did not know he says that. But then The Breadwinner is a film I have not seen, but I know about it, and that probably also should have won. I think Loving Vincent definitely should have won.
See, okay,
because I don't know, but then we start getting into the question: what does it mean to be the best animated film? Because the story of Loving Vincent is not all that great, I don't think, but because of how it is animated,
yes, that's what I was going to say.
It is a one-of-a-kind film. So for those of you that have not seen Loving Vincent, I'm pretty sure it's currently on Hulu. Go check it out because it was filmed over the course of several years. Because what they did was they would film actors, and then every single frame of the film is painted like a Vincent van Gogh painting. And that's just phenomenal to me.
Yeah. Well, talk about like the dedication that takes.
And so all of that is to say, I also think Boss Baby could have maybe won for that same reason. Because then I think the question becomes, best animated feature film, are you saying this is the best film that happens to be animated, or this is the best film in how it is animated? And a more recent example I think would be Into the Spider-Verse.
I was figuring you were going to say
that fits both categories. Number one, it's just a phenomenal movie through and through. But that movie could only be made in animation, I think. If you made it in live action, it's not the same movie.
Oh, I agree with you. And the way that they use color, too. And I know that Underwood's talked about that.
Coco is a good movie. It makes me cry every single time I see it.
Oh, you're right.
But it does not use animation like the Boss Baby uses animation.
That's very true.
Mainly in the fantasy sequences, which I don't think I mentioned in the recap. There's a number of fantasy sequences throughout the film that are separated from the quote-unquote reality of the film, and you can denote that by the super stylized colorfulness of them.
And they're essentially Tim's recollection of the event.
I think that this I'm glad that we're doing this so close to Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, because I was thinking if this movie was made in live action, it would be like the most surreal movie ever made, and it could only be made by Terry Gilliam. So, Terry Gilliam, I know you're listening to this. Just you and Walt Disney's Frozen Head are our number one Shaggy Goose Egg boys. Get the rights to make a live action Boss Baby, because I want to see that. Or can you imagine 6 like CGI photorealistic babies running around? That'd be freaking terrifying.
No, thank you. I'd rather not imagine that.
So get on it, Terry Gilliam. Although if he does it, he'll probably just cast a bunch of little people as the babies.
I'm fine with that too.
Which honestly, I don't know if that's more or less unsettling, but there's only one way to find out.
Got to do it.
So our phones are ringing, Terry Gilliam, but only for you.
Only for you, baby. All right, we're 20 minutes in. We haven't said a word about.
We got to talk about meaning.
Yeah.
All right. So now
I kind of did.
Now that we've got what you people listen to this podcast for out of the way, let's talk about the stuff that no one cares about. Let's talk about the meaning.
Just hey, listen for the end because it's gonna get crazy. All right.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, we got a special surprise for the end. A special tips and tricks video. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe.
All right. So, Boss Baby. I love this movie. I think all of you understand why I do now, or if you don't, that's okay, I guess. But you're really missing out because The Boss Baby is phenomenal. I don't know if I'm excited for the second one or not. But one of the first things I wrote down for this film is love economically, because this movie is without a doubt.
What was that?
I don't know, but they didn't hear it. Is without a doubt about love and the imbalance of love. But the movie presents it in a way that I think is interesting. And I really would like to know how someone who is steeped with economic knowledge would read this film. Because in this film, love is a commodity. It's what makes the world go round. It is the money of Baby Core and Puppy Co.
Well, I think if there's going to be a physical symbol, a physical representation of that, I think it would be Lamb Lamb.
Yes.
Especially
But
when in this.
that brings up more questions.
Okay.
You can keep going, and I'll say my question.
Just most poignantly.
Hold on. Do you know what that word means?
Poignantly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want me to describe it?
No, because poignant means emotional.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does. Look it up.
What?
It's because that's why I haven't said it in a while. Because I looked it up once and I was like, "Oh, this is not how I was."
I thought it
using
meant
this
like.
word.
Oh, what?
Yeah. So
Well-
there you go. That's our Al Pacino's word of the day. Today is, even though I think that's already been tweeted before. But yeah, so poignant means emotional. So basically, every single time we use that word, we weren't using it correctly.
I thought it meant like effectively, like
I think most people do, and that's the problem. But then, what does a word really mean? If everyone believes the word means one thing, and the dictionary is the only thing that says it means the other thing, which one does it really mean? Probably the one that everyone believes it means.
What the heck?
We're learning a lot. We're learning a lot.
My
this week.
world is broken.
Thanks, boss baby.
A poignant reply will garner more credence than hours of blown smoke.
I really think that Alec Baldwin and whoever played the kid did phenomenal voice work in this film. They should both be commended for their performances.
Okay. I guess I'll use the lame word effective. The most effective, lamb is the one.
All right. Well, I think
because when they go and then they go and he's putting the staples in lamb, and Tim's like no.
Which I love the line, "How will this look in a job interview?" That's hilarious to me. Because the boss baby, it's all business. Just like Michael Clark Duncan as the kingpin. Better out than in, I always say.
I did not like your face when you did that.
Hey man, that's just the way the cookie crumbles.
That Greendale's the way it goes.
Greendale is the way it goes. But I think The Boss Baby is a perfect counterpoint to another film that we did in this podcast, probably one of our least listened to episodes of the first batch, the Bad Batch, some might say, Mom and Dad.
Mom and Dad. Yo, 3, 2, 1. Planned obsolescence. Yes.
Because I think this movie brings up planned obsolescence, but says that planned obsolescence is not real or doesn't exist.
Well, I wrote something down near the beginning. I was like, I wonder if there's a level of out with the old, in with the new. And then Boss Baby's like, you're old and it's time to pave way for the next generation. And then I was like, planned obsolescence.
And so I think this is in that same scene when he says that. He starts talking about, he tells Tim, would you ask your parents for an old toy? And then he grabs Lamb and starts destroying Lamb with this like Transformers knockoff toy. And it's like, this toy is so much better, blah, 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 blah. But then what does Tim want?
He wants Lamb.
Tim wants Lamb. So the old is better than the new in Boss Baby. But also I think this film, again, the theme is love. So unity, the old has to work with the new. So the new is not replacing the old. But it's kind of like the scales of justice, to throw it back to our Daredevil episode. You got to keep the balance.
Well, and you know why? Because love isn't an emotion. So let's bring another episode.
Oh, no.
Shrek 3, baby.
Okay. I know where you're going with this, but I don't remember what you said exactly.
Well, in my whole discussion,
Shrek the Third, actually.
Shrek the Third, sorry. I think it was like a 5-minute monologue that I had. But basically, love is not an emotion; it's a series of actions, and I think a lot of people agree with that. But it's sacrifice, and so, like what Tim
just like Nixon said, baby, sacrifice.
That's right. And
we're really pulling out all the stops in this episode.
We are. Oh, you put me off my track. just like in
The Adventures of Shark Boy and Lava Girl in 3D, but we watched it on Netflix, so it's not really in 3D, but you gotta say 3D because it's in the title. Speaking of which, there's a lot of shots in this film that I feel like were meant to be seen in 3D, but I don't know if this was ever released in 3D, so I don't know what the point of that
I'm sure it was real D 3D.
Because like there's one part where like Boss Baby goes like and like rips the battery out of that teddy bear, and there's another part where like drool comes out.
Yeah.
Anyways,
but my whole but like the whole thing is like, so Tim is feeling as if love is an emotion, and I think it's here. This is poignant. It's most poignant when he has his song, "Blackbird Singing
in the airport,
dead of night."
or you just mean in general?
In general, so he has that, and then later, when his parents stop giving him attention, they sing it to Boss Baby.
Yes,
and then
Tim's in jail.
Right, and
which I had that stored away in my brain for the next time we play that blockbuster game. I'm gonna mention the Boss Baby, and they're gonna be like challenged, and I'm gonna pull up that exact scene and be like, checkmate.
Okay, all right, I'm ready for it. And then at the airport when it's almost like he's trying to claim what he's lost.
Yeah.
But the whole point of this is to say that like what Tim views as love is not necessarily the emotional support that is given to him. Now, granted, that is a part of it, but rather the actions that his parents take. Because, of course, actions speak louder than words.
Right.
Yada, yada, yada.
And I think that the loss of that is first seen when he's sitting in his bed and he's like, okay, it's time for my 5 stories, 3 hugs, and special song. And then he starts dwindling down the numbers until eventually he's just like, my special song? So he's trying to bargain with them for that back.
Right.
So it's almost like he's going through the stages of grief, which I did not look at the film through that lens, but maybe that's something that to be looked at next time I watch it.
Something important here that I think that not only you but our Shaggy Goose Egg boys should know is that children do not start developing a sense of abstract thought until they're 12.
He's only 7.
And he's only 7
and a half.
Well, 7 because there's no half.
No, he's 7 and a half. That was very important to him.
Yeah, well, I'm business, so I don't care about that.
Is this working? Yes. Yay! That's from another phenomenal animated movie that did not win Best Picture at the Oscars.
Look, the Oscar. Look,
we should start our own animated movie Oscars.
That's a conversation for another time.
Just animated movies.
What should we call it? The Shaggies, the Goosies,
oh yeah, okay.
The Eggies, the Boisies.
I like the Boisies, but we have to go to Idaho
and do it there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll call it the Escape from Idaho. Okay. And the Boisies. What was I saying?
I don't know.
Blackbird singing in the dead of night.
You said you're all business.
Business.
Because I was saying he's 7 and a half, but I don't know.
Oh, right. So he hasn't developed he hasn't developed abstract thought, which raises a question because it's almost as if Alec Baldwin's Baby has.
Baldwin's Baby. That's a good name for a movie. It's a Rosemary's Baby spoof.
I'm curious as to
Actually, Alec Baldwin's Baby's Haley Baldwin, who's married to Justin Bieber. Fun fact.
Does Justin Bieber play Rosemary in Rosemary's Baby?
Yeah.
Is he the baby?
No, he's Rosemary.
Oh.
And the baby.
Wait a second.
Plot twist.
Is this like Ghostbusters with Post Malone?
Yeah.
All right. Boom. There's another one. But because so in Francis,
there's another one.
In Francis's little recap, his little Pacino Pod recap, he mentions the current chief executive.
Yes, and that's another instance of planned obsolescence, I think.
Which, like Francis is old now.
Yeah.
So theoretically, he's been out of there for like 50 years.
Right.
And in the beginning, we see Boss Baby go to management, but we don't know how long he's been there for. So there is this question of age, like how old technically is Boss Baby?
Right.
And this can be a whole conversation of like theory and how age works in this world. But let's say he mentally ages normally. It's just the formula that like keeps him not aging.
Well, I assume that like they come out, they're already mentally 40 years old or whatever, and then they're just that forever.
At the babies?
Yeah.
Like
in baby core.
Like if they go to management.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotcha. Well, because he does when like he doesn't take the formula, he does go into like baby mode,
Yeah.
which suggests that baby mode still exists, but it's almost like there is a receptor or something being blocked
Uh huh.
that allows the development of the mind and not the development of the body. So theoretically, he is above 12, which means that he could have developed abstract thought. And I think he does because he does mention the concept of love and how there isn't enough to go around. That's my little tangent there.
Okay. I stopped listening to the end of that, so I don't know how to segue.
That's okay. What are you gonna say? Here, I'll do it.
All right, I'll just keep going. All right, so the theme of this movie is love, yes, but I think, and that's going into this, I was like, all right, well, this is about love because there's that thing at the end, which makes me cry a lot. It didn't make me cry this time when he's like, "I send you all my love," and like all the beads are falling on the floor and stuff.
Yeah.
However, I did tear up when Tim started singing Blackbird to Boss Baby when he's sitting on the rocket. That got
Oh
me. That got
yes,
me a
dude.
little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah, yeah.
I'm getting a little bit of chills now just talking
You
about
gave
it.
me goosebumps.
But I think another theme of this film, as Jake mentioned, Tim is not a reliable narrator. I think the other meaning of this film is like reality. What is true reality?
Yeah.
Because when we obviously have the two separate, like the fantasies and the quote unquote real events of the film, but within that, Tim is not a reliable narrator. He is an adult remembering what he believes happened as he was a 7-year-old, but he's also recounting this tale to his daughter, which I think lends the story to some embellishment additionally,
Right.
because he's trying to get his daughter to accept that there's a new baby being born. And then the one thing that I think would throw a wrench in this whole boss baby scenario maybe not being true is because the new baby is like, ah, and then she has a suit on. But I think that could just be chalked up to the older daughter of Tim, heard her dad's story and now is starting to fantasize herself.
What is Boss Baby 2 about?
I don't remember the trailer.
Okay.
I know Tobey Maguire is no longer adult Tim.
Oh, that's unfortunate. So is it about the sister?
I think so.
Interesting. I'm interested now. I'm interested to see on how that plays out. Because is this going to be like a Polar Express thing where
Okay, see,
like
but
the bell can't be heard anymore?
on the poster, they're both there, so I don't know what's going on.
Oh.
Okay. Now adults, Theodore Templeton and his estranged brother take a magical formula that transforms them into babies for 48 hours. Together, they must now go undercover to prevent an evil genius from turning fellow toddlers into monstrous brats. So both Tim and Ted get turned back into a baby.
Interesting. Okay. All right.
So I don't know why Tobey Maguire wasn't back, but that makes me big sad. Big sad for Big Dad.
And Toby is Big Dad.
Yep. I mean, I think that was it. Just that there's love, but there's also these questions of reality throughout.
Yeah, I agree with that. Let me look at my notes here.
And then also maybe potentially what the true meaning of that is, that we all just need to go back and maybe the second film will continue this, given the synopsis I just read.
Right.
That even as adults, we kind of get lost. We get caught up in the minutia of the world. Like Boss Baby, to him, everything's just business. Nothing's personal. But maybe sometimes we all just need to go back to those days when we were kids. And that's why Boss Baby has to learn to imagine. He has to learn to be in the fantasy world with Tim. Because Tim, he says something along the lines of, if you never got to be a kid, well, like, now's your chance. And then Boss Baby's like, God, you went to community college. Arr! So it takes him a little bit to get there, but he eventually does. And then that's how they win the day. Because if Boss Baby hadn't said, ha, you're not supposed to say ha, you're supposed to say art. Then Francis would have just dumped them both into the baby formula.
Right.
And they wouldn't have won.
So I mentioned it at the top of this, kind of like the concept of the Boss Baby. Once you like take a second to think about it, is super, super interesting. And some of the people that I read on Rotten Tomatoes were like, "Oh, this is a thin premise," but I think they're totally wrong. The very concept that Boss Baby presents, that some children are fit for families and some are inherently not, I think is very intriguing and problematic. Not within the context of the film, not necessarily like what the
Yeah,
film presents. Um, it kind of suggests that from birth, some children don't deserve the supposed happiness that comes with the family life, and it sets up. Let's see, I used a fancy word from its genesis. Boss Baby sets up a flawed foundation that can only be healed not only by the people outside of it, but the people within it.
yeah, and I would agree with that. Two things to say about that though. Number one, back to the point I just made about maybe this isn't all real. Uh, the first time we see the Boss Baby, Alec Baldwin's character, he's like going down the thing, and that song "I'm in Heaven" is playing. But immediately before that, Tim is in his bed with his parents, and then they're like, "Oh, don't you want a baby brother?" He's like, "No, I'm good." But then the narrator, the adult Tim, is like, "But then I began to wonder, where do babies come from?" And as he says that, there's like a little Rube Goldberg machine beside his bed that
Right.
a metal ball starts going down. And the thing that Boss Baby is sliding down is either the exact same or very reminiscent of that thing.
Whoa.
So I think that scene in itself implies that this whole thing is just in Tim's imagination.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then also to your point that this is a flawed system, I agree. Number one, because of the line, which is repeated, I think twice, maybe thrice. Everyone has a tickle spot. And so
It's at least twice. I know that for sure.
how the babies get sorted into family or corporate is they get tickled, and if they laugh, they go to a family, and if they don't, they go to corporate. But as I just said, everyone has a tickle spot. So the other tickle spots are just being missed, which means that everyone is fit for a family and no one is fit for management. So either way you slice it, it's a broken system.
Right. Yeah, and I totally agree. I don't have anything else to say to that. But what I think is interesting is that, and this may not be totally true, is that when Boss Baby is tickled, there's a level of like curiosity
Yeah.
that he presents there, which I just thought was interesting.
Which and maybe being tickled is supposed to be symbolic or metaphorical for child, like the innocence of childhood.
Right.
And so like he's like, I can't be tickled. I don't have a tickle spot. And then Tim's like, you've never been tickled? And I think after that leads to I think he says, you've never been tickled. What about your parents? And so, that again is just literally us aligning being tickled with being a child, like growing up, having a childhood.
Yeah, it's like one of those things. Like if you have a favorite game that you played, mine was like Kirby's Air Ride, and I might say to you,
Oh, the GameCube.
Oh yeah, I might say to you, have you ever played Kirby's Air Ride?
Nope. Well, maybe.
But like, let's say you said no, and I'm like, yo, you didn't have a childhood.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I think it's interesting that something as simple as tickling was identified with that. But I totally agree that like that's something that like I think any like solid family does.
Right.
Is there that's because and tickling is a weird thing.
Yeah.
All right. Like I'm like scuttling my fingers up on a part of your body.
What's also weird is you can't tickle yourself. Only other people can tickle
Yeah,
you.
well, because it's a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
But why is laughing a defense mechanism?
Yeah. I don't know.
That's the real question here. That's what Boss Baby's asking.
We should ask Abe Lincoln.
Abe Lincoln?
Yeah, because he's always honest. He'd tell us.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Well, does honesty imply?
So, if anybody knows Abe Lincoln, give us his number and we'll DM him.
Do you think Baumbach knows?
Probably. He seems like the kind of guy that hang out with Lincoln.
All right, Baumbach.
Did I say he was listening to this?
No, but I'm telling you. I'm saying he is. All right, Baumbach.
Yeah, we know your secret about Madagascar 3, so now you have to listen to our podcast.
Tell me. Do you laugh when you get tickled? That was a play on "Do You Bleed?"
Oh, okay. I didn't get that.
That's why I explained.
I didn't get $10.
No, you didn't.
But back to this being a broken system. As I mentioned, in this world, whether it's real or not, it's the reality of this film. Love is a currency. And wait a minute, I think that's a line in a Bleacher song. Love is a currency. Don't take the money.
Don't take the money. Yeah,
love is a I'm gonna have to read the lyrics about that song after this.
All right, well, let's.
But I know he says a shimmering balance act, something that.
What did you just say?
He says a shimmering balance act.
Okay, I heard a Schaumrau Bayon or something.
I mean that too. But at the end of this film, when Tim sends Boss Baby the memo because he learned how important memos are. Boss Baby runs out and like goes boop, 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 and like hits all these buttons on the heart machine that like shows the pie chart, and then it starts spinning, and then it looks like they're all spinning into equal shapes. So I want to ask you, Jake, what is the meaning of that spinning heart? Does it mean that there is enough love for everyone?
All right.
Does it mean that there's not enough for anyone?
All right. Time out.
What?
You're going to have to start over because I was looking at the lyrics.
Okay,
Don't take the money.
All right. So, but you know the scene I'm talking about, like the spinning heart thing when he's hitting all the buttons at the end? When Boss Baby leaves, he's leaving Baby Core. He goes and he's like, boop, 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 boop. And,
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I'm asking what is the meaning of that like little spinning thing? Because the whole kind of the MacGuffin of this film is love, I guess.
Yeah.
I said, does this mean that there is enough love for everyone? Does this mean there is not enough for anyone? Or does it mean that everyone needs to share their own love with everyone else? Because as it's spinning, they all kind of divide into equal little slivers, I think. I mean, they're obviously spinning really fast, but
I'm gonna ask that question with another question, and this may not make 100% sense to you, but I was curious about is this film, at least on some level, an allegory for the continued development of automation in like the factory production system?
like robots?
Yeah, because what I think what the Forever Puppy presents, not only it being a puppy but being a puppy forever, presents is the no longer.
That also defeats planned obsolescence.
Yes, it
I
does.
just put that in my head.
But it presents the idea of like kind of taking the easy route almost, but not needing to worry about like taking care of a child
Right.
or something like that along those lines. Whereas the Forever Puppy, well, you just got to take it out every now and then. You got to train, you got to take it out every now and then, but then you're going to have a puppy forever. And so I think that is.
And having a puppy kind of stinks if you have ever had a puppy.
Literally.
Well, and figuratively.
And maybe there's something to say to that too, but I think what the puppy represents is just kind of like, yeah, that automation.
Which I don't know if I've said this on the podcast before, but I know I've told you at least off air. Most of these films, like, and analyzing a lot of these films, has made me realize that the most important thing in life is balance. Like in Shrek, love is about a balance. The Shrek franchise, not just the first movie. Love is about the balance between what you give to the other person, but also what the other person gives to you, and you have to do so willingly and not just because you want to stay in the relationship, just because you want to give them something. So then this film, as I said, you have Boss Baby who learns to be a kid, but then you also have Tim who learns to be an adult.
Right.
So this movie is about the balance between those two worlds. You have to balance growing up and balance staying a kid. Like for instance, all right, I feel like everyone goes through a phase in their life, and I've mentioned this on the podcast before. I do not know. Hold on. Okay, that was kind of
better than I always say.
Jake can take that one. I may have mentioned this on the podcast before. There's a point I feel like in everyone's life when you're growing up and you're like, kids, cartoons, animated movies, that's stupid. Get out of here. And a lot of people, I feel like,
we've talked about this. I know
a lot of people continue into that, and so like when they're an adult, they just won't. Like I've met people who won't watch animated movies.
They just
solely
will not
animated.
Take the time to do it, and that's why all those Tomatometer critics are stupid.
But so there was a point. This was 6th grade, and it was in gym, and I'll remember this forever because it was a formative experience for me. I know I told Jake this story off air, but again, I don't think I mentioned it on the podcast. I was at that point where I was like, man, kids stuff, get out of here. I'm not a kid anymore. I'm a big grown up boy. So I was in gym and like I'm sitting down in the PE line or whatever, and the other two guys sitting next to me are talking about Phineas and Ferb, and I was getting ready to make fun of them. I was like, y'all watch Phineas and Ferb? And they're like, yeah, we watch Phineas and Ferb. It's a freaking cool show. And these two guys were like two of the more popular guys in school. And I was like, oh, well, maybe if they like Phineas and Ferb, it's okay to like Phineas and Ferb. And then from that point on, I'm still a kid, man. No matter how old I get, I'm always going to be a kid. And you know what? That's pretty cool. Like, for instance, one time I'm in college, right? This last semester, I decided I was going to build a blanket fort, but no one wanted to build a blanket fort with me. And one guy actually came in and it was like, "What? Did you think a bunch of college students were going to come in and do you a blanket fort?" And I was
Also,
like, "Yeah,
haven't you seen Community?
blanket forts are freaking cool, dude." But at the same time, I have a job. I can have a job and build a blanket fort
You
and
didn't
do a
have a job.
podcast.
Did you have a job last
I
semester?
don't know. And do a podcast talking about Boss Baby. Where last week we talked about Sleepaway Camp, and the week before that we talked about Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Yo,
And the
talk
week
about
before
the
that, I'm just
levels
kidding.
of movies.
I'm not going to keep going back all the way. Although the week before that, I was going to say Daredevil, but it was actually Holes.
No, and Thomas, I totally agree with you, and I think
And Holes
that
was a lot better than I expected it to be.
you should have known better.
I don't know. I don't know.
All right, well, I'm gonna keep talking now,
Okay,
and I think
I'll
you're
allow it this time.
as you interrupt me.
Yeah.
But I think that is so important, and it's a damn shame. And like I know Rebecca, shout out Rebecca. Was it Rebecca? I don't know. You were like, I have to watch Sonic. Was it Rebecca?
No.
Oh, you're right. Bleep. Bleep. When you asked, you're like, I gotta watch Sonic. They were like, what the heck? And today, when I was watching Boss Baby, Angela came in and she's like, this is dumb. And she's like, are you watching it? And I was like,
They don't
yeah.
get it, man.
And she's like, are you watching it for the podcast? I was like, yeah. She's like, oh, okay. I guess I get it then. But it's like, no, dude, this movie is so like substantial.
I really want to own this movie. I don't know why I don't own it.
Watching Over the Garden Wall, and doing my program analysis on it is really, I think, what solidified this for me is that children's animation is a way to get this kind of meaning into the eyes, yes, of children, but also to the deserving adults who get to have this knowledge. And I think those who aren't willing aren't deserving.
I will say though, as much as I like animated movies and fart jokes and things of this nature, when I saw Despicable Me 2 in theaters, my granddad fell asleep, and I can't fault him for that.
Some of them aren't good, Thomas.
Despicable Me's pretty good,
I'm not gonna lie.
but
I'm going to steal the moon.
that's pretty funny.
That is.
You can't steal the
Yo,
moon.
that meme
It's a
template.
moon.
The meme template that's like, nah,
Yep.
huh. That's a solid.
Shout out if you know what Jake's talking about. Email us your favorite. You know what? Use that meme template and make the podcast that meme.
Sam, I know you will. I'm counting on it.
You got to.
Hayden, you better. All right, Mom.
We know your names.
Mom, it's okay. You're old. I love you, but I know you don't know how to make memes.
My
But
mom probably don't even know what a meme is. My dad sends me memes. My dad's hip. He knows what's up. He's got his ear to the ground.
You talking about Louis C.K.?
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool.
That's what the CK stands for.
Very cool?
Yeah.
Okay. The C is silent.
Yeah.
All right. I forgot what we were talking about as meaning in this podcast.
Boss Baby.
But no, honestly, spread the word to your people. Like, get them to watch more animated films, more good animated films, because they are, like, super substantial and deep and thriving in a way that the meaning that you get out of it is so much more, ready? Poignant, because you had to work for it, because you had to look for it. Something I wanted to say earlier, yo, Thanos was right. Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
Balance. That's why we had to get ripsticks, man, to learn how to balance. And I didn't have one.
You know what?
Look where I am now.
I
had to find it in the Boss Baby.
He was the only one who knew it.
The ripstick?
Yeah.
Okay.
He had to ripstick half the universe out of existence.
Oh no.
Because, like, for real, dang, bro, like, I wouldn't sacrifice. I would not snap my fingers because I do not want to lose anybody.
Well, he already lost everybody.
Exactly.
For him.
Which was why it was easier. But he had to lose Gamora.
That's what I'm saying.
But
he lost her to get the stone.
Yeah, well, that's
and then he went.
But exactly, he had. But see, not okay. And this is why he gains a little sympathy for me. I'm thinking about this now. Don't cancel me, all right?
Look, Jake, you're already canceled. Okay.
But see, everyone else, like, they got dusted. But, Thanos had to kill his daughter
They should have had a Swiffer wet jet.
to clean up the mess?
Yeah.
Yikes. All right, Thomas said that, not me.
Woo!
Thomas said that, not me. Oh, here you're ready? Here's another movie. Ooh!
That's way back when, in the month that it always exists.
Hashtag Shrektober.
Forever.
Forever and always. That's holes. Boom, another one.
If only, if only.
Boom, another one.
That's the same one.
What are we talking about?
That's a different one.
Yeah!
That's throwing it all the way back.
Yeah!
All right, so
You've been here since day one. Shout out.
shout out to me. I've been here since day one.
Me too. Well, I guess I have been here since day two.
So one more thing I want to talk about is the song Blackbird.
Blackbird singing in the dead of night.
So that is obviously a key component of this film because it's Tim's song.
Is it 3 times?
I think more than that.
Okay. Dang. All right, Baumbach.
There is something that happens 3 times, but I don't remember what it was. Oh,
fart.
he takes a nap 3 times because the first one's a power nap, second one's a stress nap, third one's a victory nap.
Yo, which by the way, I do like the animation in this because the way his face like is real soft and then pops back up when
the DreamWorks face meme.
Yeah,
like every single face Boss Baby makes, I feel like is the DreamWorks face.
Dude, it's so good.
But this song Blackbird is a key component. It's a focal point of this film. So I was curious to know what the meaning of this was.
Paul McCartney.
And so like if you look at the lyrics, I had them pulled up. I don't currently. No, I got them. It's just Google sometimes wants to be Bing, and I'm like, don't be Bing, be Google. So the lyrics are, hold on, better up than I always say. Sorry guys. Blackbird singing in the dead of night, take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to arise. Blackbird singing in the dead of night, take these sunken eyes and learn to see. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to be free. Blackbird fly into the light of a dark black night. And then the rest of the song is like a variation of those lyrics. So clearly, I would say this song is about overcoming a struggle and waiting one's whole life to do so.
Are you going to talk about the one that Paul McCartney said?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the line, singing in the dead of night, seems to me to imply that only in the darkest moment will this overcoming of a struggle occur.
Well, you know what Lord of the Rings said?
One ring to rule them all.
Yep. It's always darkest before the dawn.
I thought that was Zack Snyder. But then when I was looking stuff up, Paul McCartney said this is about racism.
He did say that, indeed. He said this is about a black woman.
Yep, he said this is a metaphor for the black people's struggle in the southern states, and I was using the symbolism of a blackbird. And then he also says, this is a kind of a condescending sentence, I think. He says, it's not really about a blackbird whose wings are broken, it's a bit more symbolic, which I think is hilarious because obviously it's symbolic. But yeah, Paul McCartney also says that blackbird should be interpreted as a black girl. Then if you read further down the Wikipedia page, you learn that Charles Manson used this song as a way to recruit his followers. So apparently Manson interpreted the lyrics repetition of the word rise as a call to black Americans to wage war on their white counterparts and instructed his followers to commit a series of murders in Los Angeles in August 1969.
Charles Manson, like Once Upon a Time Hollywood? Charles Manson?
Like the Manson family murders. Was inspired by this song and Helter Skelter, 2 of Beatles songs.
Interesting.
So that's all there. And then I wrote down the question, how does this relate to Tim and his story? Because honestly, I've got no freaking clue. But
there are the 3. There's the triplets.
Yeah, and then I was trying to figure out what Tim's struggle is that he has to overcome, but I guess it's just learning to love his brother.
Yo, that might be problematic.
That you said that, or just in general?
Just in general, because the three black triplets are always like
the yes men.
Yeah, I
don't know.
Baumbach.
Think about that.
What's going on there, Baumbach? Huh?
Yeah. I mean, look. That's all I'm gonna say.
Right there.
Yep.
I'm gonna take the first interpretation that you said.
Well, no, I think and then that struggle is applicable to the black struggle in the 60s because that was during the civil rights movement. But then the
Uh-oh.
song's a bit more universal in that way.
Uh-oh. My laptop's about to die.
Uh-oh.
Oh, let me plug it in. Hold on.
Well, I mean, I think we can wrap it up.
You think
Unless
so?
you've got more to say. I mean, that was pretty much all I had.
Well, I wanted to say something else. Oh God, what was it? Oh no, oh no, oh no. Super colossal big fat baby boss has the same victim as he was the same thing as Tim.
I don't know
Okay,
what that
no
means.
explosions.
Well, I mean, you can plug it up, and then I'll
Okay.
keep talking to run the course. I'm going the distance. I'm going the speed. I'm all alone in my time of need. I heard that song earlier today. It's a pretty good song.
Hi.
I think there actually was an explosion at some point.
Where?
I don't remember, but I remember there being. I remember there being one in my head. It's in one of the chase scenes. I feel like.
Oh, it's probably the one with Greta Gerwig or whatever the big guy's name is.
Did you say that because of
Baumbach? Yeah.
Cause that's his new girl.
Yo, Baumbach. Good job, bro. She cute.
All right, let's look at this.
Hey, Greta Gerwig, if you're listening, I love Wiener Dog. That's a great film.
Bro, I saw a post the other day. It was like, look at this wholesome picture of Danny DeVito walking
a Wiener Dog. Yeah.
And I was like, you people
You have no idea.
That poor dog. That poor dog.
My laptop's taking off
All right,
again.
if any of you want to watch the movie Wiener Dog, it's on Amazon Prime. It's a phenomenal movie.
What are you looking up?
I'm watching the Boss Baby chase scene to see if anything blows up.
Oh. Well, we could just say yes.
I feel like it does, and then also there's probably an explosion in one of his fantasy sequences, but that would be like an implied whatever, or invisible whatever. Bro, that's a cool shot. The slow mo, big fat baby going like, boom.
Yes.
This cinematography in this is pretty good. Also,
Yo, DreamWorks
really like
has a fantastic.
Bro, and then yeah, this is great. When he rips off the eyebrows.
Oh yeah, dude!
Him on his face.
But when he lands in the car, yo, how dense is that baby?
Freaking babies, man!
I think that's my favorite character.
The fat baby.
Yeah.
I don't even know his name.
Tim, look a little Tim.
What a guy!
What's the Minotaur song? Minotaur
Tim. That guy's canceled. That's a fact. All right, so I mean, I'm not seeing a blow up in this scene, but I feel like there was one somewhere. So, let's just say there was, and give it like a 2. Can you boogie with that?
No.
Are you getting down with the sickness?
No, I'm not.
Are you?
I will give it a 1 invisible 2.
Okay,
that's what I'll say.
I think I can concur to that.
All right, hold on. Is this the one? What's the one that's like? It's gonna be loud. Hold on.
I don't know what you're talking about. Please do not. No. All right.
I just wanted to hear the Tim part.
Tim plays for Days in a Maze.
Yeah, but there's another one that's like Tim. Look at that Tim. Is that the torch? Safety torch?
I do not think so.
Safety torch.
All right, so Jake said 1 invisible 2, or whatever. And then we got.
Oh, there it is. Tim, things are looking grim. There it is. That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah, that's the same one, isn't it?
No, it's not.
It's
Safety torch.
Oh, well, you know what? I didn't grow up with Toby Tobuscus Jr. If you're a baby and you like bosses, you can send us an email to let us know what your parents look like.
Which is pachinopodcast@gmail.com.
Yes.
Nice try, Thomas.
And yeah, I know, but you have to tell them what it was. I can't tell them what it is.
What was?
The email.
Oh, the email? Oh,
yeah.
You can describe it. I just gotta say it.
Yeah. We'll tell you the deeper meaning of your parents.
Send us your Despicable Me memes on Twitter @PacinoPod.
Yes.
Hashtag think about it. Hashtag Al Pacino.
Hashtag Despicable Meme.
Yeah. Hashtag Shrektober. PacinoPod.
Also,
the best one will get a personal shout out on the podcast.
We've got a WordPress now.
Yeah.
Where Jake's putting some super spicy movie reviews. And if I decide that I have enough time, I might type up something about why Boss Baby is such an underrated movie. Although I think I did a pretty good job describing that in the first apparently 20 minutes of this episode. We'll see how that shakes out in the edit. But as always, drink your pickle juice. as we established, and I think How to Train Your Dragon, and that's my only catchphrase: stout sauerkraut.
Stout and sauerkraut. Victory nap.